Yo, welcome to another episode of From the Hood to the Hill with your boy D Black Anglo-Saxon. And please like the video, share the video, subscribe, all of the good things. I would appreciate it. But I'm gonna just go ahead and jump right into this one and let everybody know that Trump is the moment of truth. I keep hearing people say that Trump conned everybody out of this and Trump is a con man and Trump is a liar. And I've had this discussion before, but apparently the message has not set in. And I think it is because a lot of people listen to what people say and not what they do. And I want to frame this as Trump being the greatest moment of truth that we have experienced in American history. He may not be a truth teller, but he is the truth, and he gives us truth. What do I mean by that? Donald Trump is mask off. The things that he says, we witnessed him talk about, the rhetorical language with Iran and the threats that were recently made, even though he backed off of them. And I have said countless and countless times that though Donald Trump is a agent of chaos, we must pay attention to what he is saying because he is and sits at the pinnacle of a nation which warrants the fact and the truth in the matter that even though what he may say is stupid, even though he may be stupid, whatever your opinion of him is, you have to acknowledge that it moves global ecosystems based on what he is saying. Now, with that being said and understood, I want everybody to pay attention because this is a lesson about following what a person does versus what a person says. And I hear a lot about it because and people don't acknowledge that Trump never really lied. People talk about the campaign promises and everything that he didn't deliver on. But let's be honest, Donald Trump adopted a political corporate structure and framework that continues to lie, that continues to even invest in research and development to tell people what it is they want to hear or what it is they think they want to hear. And we cannot blame Donald Trump for taking an age old system of saying, I'm going to give the people whatever it is that they want, because people continue to say, well, he lied, he lied. And we get into this right versus left conversation without understanding that, look, both sides have done the same thing. We must remember that Donald Trump was a staunch Democrat at one point, and Donald Trump also is the same person who said that he would enter the Republican Party for the very reason that we see now. Donald Trump is also the same person that said that he would annihilate a person in the middle of Fifth Street or wherever street that was in New York, and people would still follow him. He's not saying that because he is ignorant. He's not saying that because he doesn't understand people. He's not saying that because of any particular reason that he's trying to skew how you view him. It's more so anchored in desensitizing you to how debaucherous everything operates. Another example was grab him by the coochie. And the problem with all of these things is, and I continue to talk about it here, is that we insist on playing a game that feeds into that debaucherous behavior, reinforces it, and further calcifies it. Because the thing is, Donald Trump is the moment of truth. He is the moment of truth that nobody wants to recognize because he is the mirror that is being held up to us right now in this current moment, that he is the ethos of America. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that. And yes, Donald Trump is deplorable, but we also have to look at ourselves and understand that our culture as a whole is deplorable. Because a lot of people are going to want to say, oh, well, what is it? Kamala Harris, if we would have voted her in, this wouldn't be happening. And I want to say something towards that because I'm really tired of hearing that rhetoric because who told y'all that? Your uncle? Your mama? Like, who is telling y'all this old, played out, not even intellectually coherent stuff? Because let's just take what y'all say at face value. We have to continue to vote for the lesser of two evils. And this is a little bit of game theory at its very basic level, right? Just social math, right? If I take, let's say somebody has a value of 7 evil, right? And then we say we're going to assign somebody at a 2 evil, right? And let's say that we vote for the 2 evil 4 times, right? So we're at 8 evil. And then let's say about 1, we vote for the 7 evil, right? We're at 15. Understand the effect of exponentiality, like exponents, things compounding. That works in a vacuum, but over time, you have more and more evil. You have more and more debauchery. Because it sounds sweet when it rolls off the tongue. You feel like you're this philosophical genius when you're saying it, but you're not thinking about the compounding interest of, let's say we do that to the 10th power. Let's say we do that for 400, 500, 600 years. And even if you want to take it to the Bible, let's just say we have done it since man. Because the reason that man and the reason that Bible is so prophetic is because it has stories that speaks to the effect of exponentiality, the effect of the exponent, the effect of the compounding interest of the particular behaviors that we continue to divulge in, the games that we continue to play, the ecosystems, the incentive structures that are perverse that we continue to reinforce and calcify with statements like, let's just vote for the lesser of two evils, or let's play the game. Because I need everybody to understand that when we talk about Donald Trump being the truth, Donald Trump is mask off. We are witnessing an era right now where the corporations, we can go from top to bottom, they just don't care anymore. We know that they poisoned the food supply. We know that planned obsolescence is in the tech industry and the auto industry to the point where the cars and the technology, even if you want to be and live and operate in a minimalist way, they are being built and they are being crafted to fail. And there is no government, there is nobody to come in and speak to the hope of people because everybody is under the guise that, well, that is the game. You have to figure out a way to exploit something because it's exploit, 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 exploit until people feel like they are the ones being exploited. Donald Trump is not a lie. Donald Trump is the truth. I think Donald Trump is despicable, but I think Donald Trump represents everything that we have done over an extended a period of time, and he is the manifestation of that very thing. He is the personification of the very cancerous ideology and the very cancerous incentive structures that we have here in America. Because if it has money attached to it, if it has status attached to it, if it has access attached to it, people are going to go with the flow because they feel like they can gain something as a result. But what do you gain in the sense of you are perpetuating a very destructive ideology? Because what he said and what he did when he talked about the fact that Yes, we're going to destroy your civilization. We have been destroying civilization since we have become one ourselves. This is not a new thing to us. And to sit here and act like it is just disingenuous. It doesn't allow you to see, it doesn't allow us to be able to grasp it with what we are actually dealing with. It does not allow us to see that when we talk about the e-files, that it is behoove of us to understand that there are multiple institutions, there are multiple people who eat off of these ecosystems. And the reason why we do not have it and the reason why we will not have it is because Donald Trump is the truth. They've been grabbing people by the coochies. They've been grabbing people by the dinglings for a long time. They've been going over into countries and raiding them for a long time. They've been calling ceasefires and then dumping on people for a long time. But we want to continue to act as if that is not the case and that it is one man. Yes, he is deplorable. Yes, he is debaucherous, but he is the truth. He is the essence of what we operate on here in America. And I'm talking about at scale. Because for a lot of people, they'll also say, well, Devon, we have good people in America, but the good people remain silent. The good people do not speak up. We talk about Hitler, we talk about all of these different nations over the course of history, and we don't understand that it wasn't due to people being evil in Germany. It had more to do with the fact that people self-censored and people went with what was already in place and happening and going. And then you look up and you say, how did we get here? It's because nobody said nothing. Everybody wanted to play the game. Everybody wanted access to power. Everybody wanted to just go with the flow. Everybody just wanted to be with the echo chamber. Everybody just wanted to continue to say, you know what? We just gonna rock with what this dude is saying because he got the power, he got the motion, and he got the ocean right now. But what did it cost? Where did we get? It's not just Donald Trump, and it's not just the elites. It's why I tell people I had an issue with the Kanye West situation. Not why, because you can't go on a tirade for 10 years about how debaucherous these people are, how predatory these people are, the things that go on behind the scenes. And then even to speak to it, you said to us yourself that if you come back, it's not you. So must I believe that this is not you and that you have been co-opted and taken out? And everybody is probably saying to themselves, what does this have to do with Trump? Because Trump being the truth? Because it is the behaviors, it is the incentives of just going with the flow. It is the, I'm just going to go ahead and fold back into this very thing that I know is destructive, but because it has access, money, and power, we going to do it. Because if you think people are not eating off of the fact that all of these disruptions are taking place, you're a fool. Trump didn't lie. He told y'all what he was going to do. And the lies that he did tell, he took that framework from all of the companies, corporations, and political actors of the past who understand that they're just going to tell us what we want to hear. And we are so crazy, we say, oh, yeah, man, that's what you got to do. That's what you got to do if you want to win. Just tell people what they want to hear. And then when you get in, then you do. No, how is that working for us? Because once you make certain deals with certain groups and certain people who actually have leverage, it's very hard pressed that you're going to come out of that. But what do I know? I don't know. I may be crazy. People want to keep saying it, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump. Yes. And what about everything else around him that reinforces it? What about everything around him that remains silent? What about all the cowardice that remains in position that just wants to campaign on it 2, 3 years later after the catastrophe has already taken place and the problem has grown. The beast has become more insatiable. The way that we have to approach it becomes very different. And tomorrow is not promised, but it's Trump. What about us who every day censor ourselves and say, oh, you know what? I'm not even going to say that. I'm not going to speak to that. The platforms don't even allow us to use real words anymore for real, to even have certain conversations because they are silently shadow banning people based on the conversations that they having or the words that they're using. And then we want to sit here and act like the firemen aren't coming. The firemen are coming. Books, the information, the history, the catalogs, everything that we have to pinpoint and really get to an understanding of what we're dealing with. And I'm talking about not just consuming mass amounts of information, I'm talking about taking your time and really sitting with it and really being like, wow, how do I play into this? How do I feed into this? How do I, in my ideological frameworks, bolster this whole system? Because what it's going to take to get us out of this and equalize it and find homeostasis is we going to have to self-sabotage from what seems like a lot of you all believe for the short term, but to find balance for the long term, which means deviating away from the system. And when I say the system, I'm talking about those behaviors that are like, all right, cool. Well, you know what? I got to do what I got to do. I got to cheat, lie, steal. I got to step on this person's neck, step on that person's neck. I got to edge this person out. I got to compete instead of collaborate. All of those little small things that we do on a day in, day out basis in terms of how we interact versus just something that as simple as choosing to engage with people on a human level versus a transactional level. As simple as it sounds, if you do that exponentially over time, it adds up. It changes a whole set of pathways because you're impacting people. Because you have to understand that it is what it is, play the game, and all of these different ideologies and phrases that people like to come up with. It is a very cynical way of looking at the world. They want to tell you I'm the cynical one, but no, that is a cynical take because it acquiesces and says, this is what we just have to do. We have to go with it. And I'm not saying that in some ways you have to compromise, but don't become the very thing that you hate. Don't chase and engage in something and forget and lose yourself and you look up and you a demon just like the demons who you're trying to take down. And that's not an easy task. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm just saying be conscious and aware of when you're going on your journey, when you're walking through the valley of death, don't die.